All right, buckle up, everybody, because today's deep dive is going to take us way back.
Ancient Japan, here we come.
You got it. The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter. Ever heard of it?
Oh yeah, classic. Japan's oldest story, right?
That's right. And it's got everything. Mystery, maybe even like aliens.
Oh, intrigue right off the bat. I love it.
And like these big ideas about life and humanity that we're still grappling with today.
Timeless stuff.
Exactly. Now, our main source for this deep dive is actually this lecture I found online.
Oh, interesting. Not your typical dusty scroll.
Nope. But this professor, he really brings the story to life, I promise.
Yeah.
So, picture this. It's 8th century Japan, the Heian period.
Okay, got it. Setting the scene.
Yeah, and we're out in the countryside with this old bamboo cutter just doing its thing. Suddenly, he comes across this bamboo stalk, but it's glowing.
Glowing. That's not how bamboo usually works.
Right, and inside, he finds a tiny girl.
Tiny how?
Like 3 inches tall. And she's radiating light, literally. It's a little freaky.
Yeah, I'd say so. Definitely sets the tone for a story with some unusual elements.
Totally. Anyway, this little girl doesn't stay tiny for long. She grows super fast into this woman who's described as, well, breathtakingly beautiful.
Yeah.
The kind of beauty that stops you in your tracks.
The story really emphasizes that, her beauty.
Oh, yeah. It's almost like it's more than just physical. There's something, well, otherworldly about it.
It makes you think about what beauty standards were back then.
Oh, man. Speaking of beauty standards, you're not going to believe this. In Heian, Japan, they thought blackened teeth were hot.
Blackened teeth? Seriously?
Dead serious. They'd use this mix of iron and vinegar. Actually, the lecture said it might have been good for their teeth. Weird, right?
Ironic, I guess, if it was a beauty treatment that also protected them.
Totally. And apparently, it made their white face powder stand out even more. So, yeah, Heian, Japan had a unique sense of style.
Unique is one way to put it. But anyway, our girl, Kaguya, that's what the bamboo cutter names her. She's not into it.
Nope. She refuses to blacken her teeth. Almost like she's rejecting their whole society's norms right from the start.
Interesting. A rebel from the get-go.
Yeah. And soon, she's got bigger problems to deal with than beauty standards.
Like what?
A whole line of suitors. Seems everyone's smitten with Kaguya, whether it's because of her beauty or maybe because of the whole mysterious glowing bamboo thing.
So she becomes this, like, ultimate prize, the most eligible bachelorette in all of Japan.
Pretty much. And here's where it gets even wilder. The lecture says that 3 of the most persistent suitors, the ones who just wouldn't give up, they were actually real historical figures, big-time nobles, super powerful guys in the emperor's court.
Wait, so this story blends actual history with, like, fantastical elements.
Yep. The 3 names the lecture mentioned were Ab no Muneyuki, Otomo no Miyuki, and Iso no Kamiyuki. Each of them gets given these impossible tasks to win Kaguya's hand. It's like a fairy tale quest, but way more intense.
What kind of impossible tasks are we talking about?
Oh, just casual things like bringing back a Buddha's begging bowl from India.
Oh yeah, just a quick trip. Pop over to India, grab a sacred artifact, no problem.
Exactly. Or how about a branch from a mythical tree on Mount Penglai, said to grant immortality?
So, like, basically setting them up for failure. They're never going to find these things.
No. It's almost like it's highlighting how unattainable Kaguya is. Like, she's not meant for any of these guys. It's like there's something else going on with her.
Oh, there's definitely more to the story. We're just getting started. But before we dive deeper, I got to know, what happens to these guys? The suitors, do they come crawling back, defeated?
Oh, absolutely. But that's not even the end of it, because then the biggest player of all enters the game.
Who could that be?
The emperor himself. Even he's not immune to Kaguya's charm. He sees her and boom, head over heels.
So the emperor wants to marry her, make her his empress.
That's the idea. But Kaguya, she gently lets him down. She tells him, I don't belong in this world.
So she basically rejects the most powerful man in Japan. That's bold.
Yeah, but she does it in a way that's not, like, mean or anything. It's more like she's trying to explain something he just can't understand yet. And here's what's interesting.
Lay it on me.
They keep writing letters back and forth for 3 years. The Emperor of Japan pouring his heart out to this woman who's made it clear she's not interested romantically.
Wow, that's some serious longing. 3 years of letters, what were they even writing about?
We don't know the exact content, but it shows she's not just brushing him off, They have this connection, this back and forth. But all the while, there's this cloud hanging over Kaguya. She gets really sad, especially whenever there's a full moon.
Full moon, like it triggers something in her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And finally, she reveals the truth. She's not from Earth.
Wait, hold up. So all this time, she's been from?
The moon, she says she was sent to Earth as some kind of karmic payback, like she did something in a past life and this is her punishment.
Okay, that's a twist. So she's an alien.
Well, that's what it seems like. Well, hold on, because it gets even more complicated. When the moon people actually show up to take her back, they ascribe her as a criminal. Like, she was exiled from the moon.
So which is it? A karmic debt or an exile? The story leaves us hanging.
Right. It's like we're given two possible explanations, but no clear answer.
And how do the moon people even show up? Is it like a spaceship?
Not quite a spaceship, but close. It's this huge, flying chariot, all bathed in blinding moonlight.
Whoa! Okay, now that's an entrance.
You said it. The Emperor's soldiers try to stop them, try to keep Kaguya on Earth, but they're completely outmatched. It's like trying to fight the moon itself.
Yeah, good luck with that. So the moon people, they must be pretty advanced if they have flying chariots. What are they like?
The source doesn't go into much detail, but it does say their clothes were indescribably beautiful, like beyond human comprehension. It's this stark contrast, right? This advanced civilization descending upon Earth.
Yeah, and everyone's gonna face the reality of who Kaguya really is. No more denying it.
Exactly. And that leads to the goodbyes.
Oh, man. This is where it gets emotional, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tough. Kaguya has to say farewell to her earthly parents, the bamboo cutter, and his wife. She leaves them her robe as a memento and promises to watch over them from the moon. But she doesn't forget about the Emperor either.
Oh, so she cares about him, even though she can't be with him.
Yeah, it's clear there's real affection there. And to show it, she gives him a vial containing this elixir, a potion that grants eternal life, plus a letter, just for him.
Wait, an immortality potion? Why would she give him that?
You'd think he'd be thrilled, right?
Oh.
But he's heartbroken. So heartbroken, in fact, that he chooses to burn the elixir. He says he'd rather join her in death than live forever without her.
Wow. That's heavy. True love, huh?
The ultimate grand gesture, I guess.
Yes.
And get this. He burns the elixir on top of the highest mountain in Japan. You know which one I'm talking about.
Mount Fuji.
That's the one. And it's said that the name Fuji can also mean immortal.
Whoa, hold on. So you're telling me Mount Fuji might be named after a heartbroken emperor burning an immortality potion?
That's what the lecture suggests. Although it also mentions that Fuji can mean many soldiers. Maybe because the emperor had a massive entourage with him. So who knows for sure?
Either way, it's a powerful image. A mountain forever tied to this tale of love and loss.
Absolutely. But now we have to ask, what does it all mean? We have this moon princess, these impossible quests, a heartbroken emperor, and a mountain that might be named after a burned potion.
It's a lot to unpack. Luckily, that's what deep dives are for.
You got it. We're going to dive into all the deeper meanings and interpretations after the break, so don't go anywhere.
Okay, so where do we even begin? This story is packed with symbolism. It's like every detail has multiple layers of meaning. But let's start with Kaguya herself. Think about the effect she has on literally everyone she meets.
Yeah, it's more than just being beautiful, right? It's like she has this power over people, this pull that they can't resist.
Exactly. Those suitors, they were willing to risk their lives, travel to the ends of the earth just for a chance to be with her. It makes you wonder if it's just beauty or is there something else at play, like something almost supernatural.
Right, and when you think about it, it ties back to this idea you mentioned earlier, Earth as a prison, or like a testing ground. Kaguya being sent here, whether it's because of a past life or as a criminal, well, it implies that Earth is where beings go to experience the tough stuff. You know, intense emotions, suffering.
Interesting. So maybe Earth is like the cosmic boot camp.
Maybe. And maybe those kinds of things, those difficult emotions, don't even exist in her lunar world.
That's a fascinating thought. The story doesn't say it outright, but it definitely hints at the possibility that humans are, in a way, well, less evolved, still wrestling with desires and emotions that more advanced beings have moved beyond.
So, like, we're down here in the emotional trenches while they're observing from a higher plane. I don't kind of like that idea.
But it also kind of highlights what makes us human, doesn't it? Our capacity for those deep emotions, the joy, the sorrow, the love, the loss. Maybe those are the things that make us unique.
Yeah, that's a good point. Even Kaguya seems drawn to those human experiences. Even if she can't fully embrace them, she was obviously heartbroken to leave. But why did she have to go back? If she loved Earth so much, why couldn't she just stay?
That's the big question, isn't it? And the story doesn't give us a straight answer. But it does offer an interesting concept, this idea of the transient nature of divinity. Maybe beings like Kaguya, these extraordinary figures, aren't supposed to stay in the human world for too long. Their presence disrupts things.
It's like she was too powerful, too alluring for us mere mortals. Her being here caused all kinds of chaos.
Exactly. Look at the effect she had on the Emperor. The longing, the heartbreak, the turmoil. She was a disruption just by existing. The story seems to be saying that there needs to be a separation between the divine and the mundane.
We're not ready for that kind of power, I guess.
Mm.
We'd all lose our minds if we had a literal goddess walking among us.
Right. And as sad as Kaguya's departure is, it's also a reminder that some things aren't meant to last. We have to confront our own limitations, our own mortality.
It all comes back to that idea of Earth being this proving ground. We're down here figuring things out, learning our lessons, experiencing all the human emotions, good and bad.
And maybe that's the point, right? It's in those struggles, those messy human experiences, that we find meaning. But there's one part that still bugs me. What about this so-called crime Kaguya committed?
Oh yeah, we get those two explanations. Karma from a past life or being a criminal? What do you make of that? What could her crime possibly have been?
It's left so vague, isn't it? Almost like the story wants us to fill in the blanks ourselves.
You know what I've always wondered? Maybe her crime was loving humanity too much. I mean, the moon people, they seemed so cold, so emotionless. What if she was supposed to just observe us, objectively? But instead, she got attached.
That's a really insightful point. Imagine a society that values detachment above all else. In that context, compassion, something we consider a virtue, could be seen as a transgression.
Right. Maybe her punishment was to come here and experience the full spectrum of human emotions, the good and the bad, so she could understand the true cost of getting attached.
Like a bittersweet cosmic lesson.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you wonder, what did the moon people even consider wrong? And it brings up another question. If Earth is this proving ground, what exactly are the lessons we're supposed to be learning here?
Yeah, what are we supposed to take away from our time on this planet? It's something to think about, for sure.
It is. Maybe the answers aren't out there in the stars. Maybe they're within us all along.
The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter. It's a story that's been around for over 1,000 years, and yet it still feels so relevant. Why do you think that is?
Because it speaks to these universal themes, things that are just as relevant today as they were back then. Love, loss, the search for meaning. We're all trying to figure out where we fit in this crazy world, right?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
We might not encounter moon princesses or flying chariots in our everyday lives,
Mm.
but we all experience those same yearnings, those same heartbreaks.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes this story so powerful. It connects with something deep within us, something that transcends time and culture.
This deep dive has been amazing. Seriously, I feel like I have a whole new understanding of this ancient tale.
Me too. It's a story that really stays with you, makes you want to keep questioning, keep exploring.
If anyone out there is listening and hasn't experienced the tale of the bamboo cutter yet, I highly recommend checking it out. There are translations online, even some illustrated editions. It's a story that everyone should experience at least once.
And as you're reading it, think about everything we've discussed today. Kaguya's journey, the Emperor's sacrifice, the Moon People's perspective. What does it all tell you about what it means to be human? What does it tell you about our place in the universe?
Maybe ask yourself, what lessons are you meant to learn during your time here on Earth?
It's a question worth pondering. And maybe the answers are closer than we think.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic. Until then, keep exploring, keep asking those big questions, and most importantly, never stop learning. It really does make you think, doesn't it? About what we value, what we prioritize. Maybe those moon people, with all their advancement, they've actually lost something essential.
It's possible, right? They seem to have mastered their emotions, but at what cost? The tale of the bamboo cutter reminds us that those messy human emotions, they're a part of what makes life meaningful. It's how we connect, create, leave our mark on the world.
It makes you wonder, are we actually the more advanced ones? In all our chaos and emotion, maybe we have something they envy.
It definitely makes you question the traditional idea of progress, right? What does it really mean to be advanced? Is it about technology or emotional control? Or maybe it's about embracing the full spectrum of human experience.
You know, it's amazing to think that this story's been around for over 1,000 years, and yet it still feels so relevant today. Why do you think that is?
Because it taps into these universal themes: love, loss, longing for something more, the search for meaning. I mean, those are things we all struggle with, right? No matter what time period you live in.
Yeah, that's so true. We may not have moon princesses or flying chariots in our lives, but we all feel those same things, those yearnings, those heartbreaks that pull toward the unknown.
Exactly, and that's what makes the tale of the bamboo cutter so powerful. It speaks to something deep within us, something that goes beyond time and culture. It's a story that stays with you.
This has been an incredible deep dive. I'm so glad we got to explore this story together.
Me too. It's always fascinating to revisit these ancient tales and see how they connect to our lives today.
To everyone listening, if you haven't had a chance to experience the tale of the bamboo cutter yet, I highly encourage you to check it out. You can find translations online, even some beautifully illustrated editions. Trust me, it's a story that will stay with you.
And as you're reading it, keep in mind everything we've talked about today. Think about Kaguya's journey, the Emperor's sacrifice, the Moon People's perspective. What does it all tell you about what it means to be human, about our place in the universe?
What lessons are you meant to learn during your time here on Earth?
Maybe the answers aren't out there in the stars. Maybe they're within us all along.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time for another journey into the unknown. Until then, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never stop seeking those moments of wonder.